It started as small suspicions, the kind you try to brush off because you don't want to believe them. My wife, Laura, had always been careful, always composed, and for years I trusted her without question. But slowly, cracks began to form in the perfect picture I thought we had. Her phone became a constant companion, glued to her hand, locked the moment I entered the room. She smiled down at it more than she smiled at me, her fingers moving quickly across the screen. When I asked who she was talking to, she would shrug, give me vague answers, and change the subject. At first, I accepted it, telling myself she deserved privacy, that it was probably work or friends. But deep down, a voice whispered that something wasn't right. The late nights at the office grew more frequent. She came home smelling of perfume. That wasn't hers, her hair tousled as if someone's hands had been in it. She started dressing differently, sharper, more deliberate on nights she claimed she had meetings. And then there was the look in her eyes, a distant gleam, as if her thoughts were far from me. It was obvious. Painfully obvious. She wasn't even hiding it anymore, but instead of confronting her right away, I chose silence. I watched. I waited. I studied her patterns like a detective gathering evidence. I told myself that rushing into a confrontation would only give her room to lie, to twist the truth. If she thought I was blind, let her. The longer she believed it, the more careless she would become, and the more the truth would reveal itself. So I played the part of the coolest husband. I smiled when she gave me excuses, nodded when she said she was working late, kissed her cheek, even when I could smell a stranger's cologne clinging to her skin. Inside, though, I was cataloging every detail, every inconsistency, every moment that betrayed her. I started noticing little things around the house, too. A receipt tucked into her purse from a restaurant she never mentioned. A necklace she wore one night that I hadn't bought. The faint smell of cigarettes in her hair, though she never smoked. Each clue piled on top of the last, forming a picture I couldn't ignore. The hardest part was pretending it didn't hurt. Every night I lay awake beside her, staring at the ceiling, wondering how long it had been going on, wondering if she ever thought of me at all. She would roll over, her phone clutched tightly under her pillow, and I would close my eyes, pretending to sleep, even as my chest ached with betrayal. There were times I almost broke. Times I wanted to scream, to demand the truth, to force her, to admit what I already knew, but I held back. I reminded myself of the bigger picture. Confronting her too soon would only give her power. Waiting meant control. Waiting meant choosing the moment. One evening, the opportunity came. Laura told me she had another late meeting. She dressed carefully, more than she ever did for me, her perfume filling the room as she grabbed her bag and keys. I kissed her. Goodbye, playing my part as always, but this time I followed. My heart pounded as I trailed her car, keeping a careful distance. She didn't drive toward the office. Instead, she went across town to a small hotel, one I had passed by countless times but never had reason to notice. She parked, checked her reflection in the mirror, and walked inside with a smile on her face. A few minutes later, another car pulled up. A man got out, tall, confident, clearly familiar with her. He followed her inside without hesitation. I sat in my car, staring at the building, my chest tight. The truth wasn't just suspicion anymore. It was undeniable, standing in front of me, holding the hand of the woman I thought I knew. Still, I didn't storm inside. I didn't cause a scene. I waited. Hours passed before they came back out, laughing, carefree, oblivious to the fact that I was watching. She leaned into him, touched his arm, looked at him with the kind of affection she hadn't shown me in years. I followed them again the next time, and the time after that. Each time I gathered more proof, photos, times, dates, details she could never deny. The more I saw, the colder I became. My love for her withered with every secret rendezvous, replaced by a quiet determination. Finally, I was ready. One weekend, we were invited to a dinner with friends, a group we often spent time with. Laura agreed eagerly, as if nothing were wrong, as if she hadn't been sneaking around behind my back. She laughed and chatted, her mask firmly in place. But that night, I was the one with the secret. When the conversation turned light and casual, I stood up smiling and raised a toast. I spoke about trust, about loyalty, about the bonds of marriage. People nodded, raising their glasses until I pulled out my phone. Calmly, deliberately, I showed the first photo. Laura, walking hand in hand with a man. Gasps filled the room. Her face went pale. She tried to speak, but I went on. Another photo, another detail. Every truth laid bare in front of her friends, the people she had laughed with so easily. Her mask shattered. She stammered, reaching for excuses, but there were none left. The room fell silent, the weight of her betrayal filling every corner. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I simply set the phone down, thanked everyone for listening, and told Laura that our marriage was over. Then I walked out, leaving her in the wreckage of the lies she had built. That night, I finally slept. For the first time in months, I closed my eyes without the ache of suspicion or the sting of betrayal. She had thought I was blind. She had thought I would never notice. But I had been watching all along, waiting for the perfect moment to show her that I wasn't as blind as she believed. And when the moment came, she never saw it coming.